to the Amber Alert. The Department of Justice, you know, Eric Holder gets to decide, is this department non-essential? Is this essential? He said, you know, some genius at the Department of Justice said, you know what, it's not really essential. It is essential.
Yeah, I mean, there will be a lot of pushback on this. It'll gain a lot of attention. I mean, obviously, it already is getting attention. And you're right. These different departments do make decisions about what elements of their departments are essential and what aren't. The bottom line on this whole shutdown deal is it does not seem like this is coming to an end anytime soon, judging by the weekend's comments. I mean, we could be looking at week 3 very easily after this week.
Well, you know, in my opinion, week 1, the president seemed to have the upper hand. Clearly, the GOP were on their heels. Even the GOP had turned on each other. I think it's going to be a different week this week, just judging by what I heard over the weekend. Here's the speaker talking on ABC about what he was hoping would happen this weekend.
And the president is risking default by not having a conversation with us.
So are you saying that if he continues to refuse to negotiate, the country is going to default?
It's the path we're on. Listen, the president canceled his trip to Asia. I assumed, well, maybe he wants to have a conversation. I decided to stay here in Washington this weekend. He knows what my phone number is. All he has to do is call.
Call me maybe, is what he's saying. I mean, you know, so we've got that. What's your reaction to him there?
Well, I tell you what, I mean, a lot of people didn't think that the speaker was going to come out that firm, actually. They didn't know what he was going to say. But when he did say what he said, it seems like we are headed down this path that is going to be a long time before, probably up against October 17th. On the flip side, if you listen to Secretary Lew and the adamant statement that the president and the White House are not going to negotiate unless there's a clean continuing resolution, a clean debt ceiling vote, in other words, nothing's attached to it, you see the chasm between the two sides.
You know what? Love you because you do set up our soundbite so perfectly. You just mentioned Jack Lew. Jack Lew was in the studio. You're sitting in Studio A right there in our bureau in Washington, D.C. yesterday, as Chris Wallace asked him about, hey, why does the president keep saying unprecedented? It's not. Listen to this.
If we were to have the unthinkable happen and have the United States default, it would cause real problems. The consequences are immediate and they're very bad. Congress needs to act. I am telling you that I know the direction. I know the direction is bad. There are a range of how bad. It is not responsible, it is irresponsible, and it is reckless to take that chance, which is why Congress needs to act.
And I said unprecedented because in another soundbite, Chris says, look, you keep saying that the president says it's unprecedented that I would have to make a deal to get a debt ceiling. And then Chris had the facts right there. And he said, well, back in this year and this year and this year.
It was 53 times 27. They wanted
exactly.
Deals were done. So it does look to some, Brett, like the administration is trying to force the hands of the Republicans, who right now are united, trying to scare America into having the Republicans cave.
Yeah, and there, Secretary Lew's talking about the results of going over that cliff. And again, we've talked about here that technically default is something that, you know, it would be tough because tax revenues would still be coming in and the government would have to choose not to pay the interest on the debt. That said, if you miss one bond payment, it affects the economy negatively. And the definition of catastrophic, I think, is what he was trying to get at there, and there were not a lot of details.
I was going to hopeful. I saw Paul Gigo, Wall Street Journal, say that behind the scenes he's gotten word this Patty Murray is talking with Paul Ryan, and there might be a deal being done actually in the back rooms. We'll have to see.